Hi and welcome to Tremor Trails, the channel that uses the F150 Ford Tremor as a platform for off-roading, overlanding, and adventure seeking. If you're new to this channel, what we do is we talk a little bit of gear, a little bit of tech, but our main focus is highlighting trails across the country and giving you a broad overview of what you can expect when you're out there exploring those trails yourselves. You don't need a Tremor, but it definitely helps. We finally get some rain. It's been 60 days without it, so I'm enjoying getting a little wet. With that being said, today's trail is just outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico, in the San Pedro Mountains, Clara Peak. It was definitely a fun trip. Let's go check it out. Clara Peak, also known as the Meadows to Espanola Trail, the 64-mile trail, the 31-mile road. It has a bunch of different names. You start at Clara Peak if you're looking for it. It's going to be found outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico in the San Pedro Mountains. It's going to take you about 6.5 to 7 hours to get this one done the way that we did it. If you look up at the top right there, you have 4 red waypoints. That's actually the Meadows to Espanola Trail, but when we got to that location, the locals told us not to go that way, that the road was in bad shape. So what can we expect? It's going to be dirt, gravel, mud, and some small rocks. Nothing major at all. The only mode I used was 4 high, mud, and ruts. And as far as highlights go, there's really just a bunch of different things. The mountain peaks, there's a burn area that we highlight, and there's some epic camping spots that we show on the video as well. Speaking of camping, we got in late the night prior, around midnight. So we got about 6 miles down the trail and set up a small little camp. Had some breakfast, tore down camp, and then jumped up on this trail to see what it was all about. Remember that our cameras have stabilizers on them, so the hills are not going to appear steep, and the bumps are not going to be as rough. Also remember that we review this trail and every trail at the end of our video, so please check that out as well. The first part of this trail is all about the climb. You climb this shelf road for several miles with incredible views off to your left. From this vantage point, you can see Los Alamos. I didn't see any UFOs this day. And also, of course, Santa Fe behind you. The views are just incredible. This is a well-maintained shelf road. It's extremely wide. 2 vehicles could pass each other. So there's no fear. It's just really beautiful scenery you get to take in. The only bummer was there was some graffiti up at the top, but, you know, so be it. Get yourself a picture, and then let's head further on into the mountains. After meandering through the mountains for around 20 miles or so, you get to an old burn area, which is here. It opens up views to the east and to the north. It was really a cool time of year to come, even though you get rained on pretty much every day during monsoon season. It makes some incredible views way off in the distance seeing these storms. We decided to jump out of the truck for a few minutes, stretch our legs, and then we head up further into the mountains and come across this really epic camping site that I can't wait to show you. I hate to use the word epic because it seems like every overlanding video has the word epic, but this is an epic campsite. It overlooks this valley. You are out in the middle of nowhere and there's nobody else around you for miles and miles. I have it marked at 21 miles. It may be a little bit further if you start your mileage at the bottom of the Clara Peak Trail, but it's going to be 21, 25 miles, and there's several other campsites just around here that are just as beautiful. If you ever get to this part of New Mexico, start the trailhead in the afternoon and then come up here and camp overnight and then finish the trail. That's what I wish we would have done, but we know now, so if we ever get back, that's what we're going to do. The next 15 miles or so get us down the mountains a little bit into some open meadows that are just gorgeous. Let's go check it out. All in all, this was an incredible day, and even though we didn't do the trail as planned, taking this route was just as spectacular. Always remember to pivot if you got to, guys. But New Mexico was such a surprise to me, and I always thought that it was just desert, and seeing this now, I can see how naive I was. Anyways, let's head on down the mountains and head on home. So there you have it, Clara Peak. This was a surprising trail for us. I wasn't really sure what to expect. Honestly, I thought I was just gonna kind of go up for about 10, 20 miles and then turn around, and it ended up being a whole day excursion. This is a trail that I'd recommend doing in 2 days. Like I mentioned and showed you, we started early in the morning and camped way down. Now knowing where that epic camp spot was, plus the other spots all around that you can camp, I would probably do this in a morning, go up in the afternoon, camp, and then finish the trail out, either continuing on like we weren't able to do towards Albuquerque or back up the way that we actually finished the trail. This trail had so much to offer. It was really just a pleasant, I call it Sunday drive up in the mountains. With that being said, let's get into the rating. It's real simple. On this channel, we rate everything 1 through 5, being fun, fear, technical, and scenery. For fun, we gave it a 3.5. This was a surprising trail. I honestly wasn't expecting it to turn out as beautiful as it was, just because I'm naive to New Mexico. When I think New Mexico, I think deserts for some reason. Probably because that's all I've ever driven going through New Mexico towards Arizona. This was a surprise, solid 3.5. That leads us into fear, not a fearful road. This is a really great overlanding type trail. I would almost give it a 1, but I've always said that if there is a shelf road involved, I'll bump it to a 1.5. At the beginning, you have the shelf road that you climb for probably about 10 miles or so, but it's so wide you can actually pass in spots if you had to. It's not fearful at all. 1.5, super easy. That leads us into technical. Not a technical trail at all. There was a few little obstacles, but they were minor. I'm tempted to say 1.5 on this, but I'm going to step it up to 2 because if you do continue on where we weren't able to, that's going to turn into a moderate trail in some spots and then probably smooth out further down, I would assume. I wasn't able to do it. That leads us into scenery. 3.5. This thing had pretty much everything. If you're really kind of a mountain person with trees, this is your kind of trail. You know, there was a few spots from the burnout and then driving the shelf road where you had some really vast expanse views. But for the most part, you're pretty much in the trees. But it wasn't a boring tree kind of trail where you can't see anything. There was, you know, every few miles or so, there were spots that opened up and you could look out and see some really cool things. With the monsoons coming in, it was just gorgeous. We absolutely loved it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all, please comment down below regarding this trail or any trail that you may have seen us do. We really appreciate the support. We're a brand new channel and we're just trying to get out and explore some trails for you guys based around the Tremor. We really appreciate the support. We appreciate the comments, the likes, and several of you have subscribed. We really appreciate that so much. It helps grow our channel and get it to more people that may be interested in the Tremor as a platform. This truck is incredible. We have some videos coming up where we do some crazy trails that I think I'm gonna blow the thing up, and I don't. This thing continues to impress me time and time again. So, until next time, we'll see you out on the trails.